From Atlanta Stadium, this is the Atlanta Super Bowl of Motocross, Round 4 in the 1984 Supercross Series. Hi, everybody, this is Bob Neal. 600 truckloads of dirt have been hauled into Atlanta Stadium. 60 riders will compete in 9 heats. The best 20 will move on to the championship finals. The course has 9 turns, 11 obstacles, and it is a fast and furious course. Working with us this year is a name familiar to all motocross fans, Mike Bell, a 10-year veteran, a former Supercross champion who retired only this year. The weather here this year, Mike, is very good in Atlanta, but that hasn't always been the case, and I know you've experienced it racing it here.
Yeah, we've had rain and snow and hail and sleet and always plenty of mud here, so it's quite a change for 40-degree weather and good track conditions.
I understand they made some changes in the track that might enhance the racing.
It's a layout quite a bit. They've took out some of the more snaky type turns where the riders tend to go into a more one-line formation, and it's hard for passing.
The fans come to see the riders. Let's talk about some of the names to watch tonight. First of all, the current points leader, Jeff Ward.
Yeah, well, Jeff Ward he's always seemed to be the bridesmaid. He's finished second a lot of times, and he's finally won a Supercross this year earlier in Seattle, and he's looking real good this year.
The defending 1983 Supercross Series champion is David Bailey.
He's gotten off to a slow start for David. Last year he started out by winning the first couple races. So, you know, he's a good, strong rider, and he looked good in practice tonight.
He's being pushed right now, I know, by the number 2 points leader, and that is Johnny O'Mara. How's he doing?
Johnny's looking really well. He's also won his first national Supercross this year, and he's looking real strong, and I think he's just going to hang on there and try to make some points.
Okay, how about the man who won here last year, the 83 Atlanta champion, Mark Barnett?
Barnett's always really tough here in Atlanta. He likes it. It's near his home, and he's always really, really tough here.
7 years ago, a 20-year-old Bob Hanna won the first Atlanta Super Bowl of motocross. He's back again, Hurricane Hanna.
Yeah, well, they love the Hurricane wherever he goes. He's a real competitor. He loves to win, and the people know that, and he always gives them their money's worth.
Well, we have great weather, a fast track, and we're awaiting the spills and the thrills of the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of motocross. We'll be back with the first heat right after this. Here we go with heat number 1. Some of the riders to watch for. Number 3, Broc Glover from El Cajon, California, the 1983 500cc outdoor national champion. Number 4 is Jeff Ward. He leads the 84 Supercross Series after 3 events. Number 7 is Ron Lechien, member of Team Honda, the 83 Rookie of the Year. And number 12, Billy Liles, a local favorite. He's from nearby Fairburn, Georgia, a member of Team Kawasaki. The hut, by the way, in the middle there is to disguise the arm of the man who drops the starting gate so nobody gets the advantage. The man who gets the hole shot or the lead early is the man who's going to have an advantage in this. Let's see who gets it after they go around turn number 1. And it looks as though number 4, Jeff Ward of Team Kawasaki, is in first place. On the yellow bike, number 3, Broc Glover in second place. Number 12, Billy Liles in third. And number 7 is Ron Lechien in fourth place. On the first lap of heat number 1 in the 1984 Super Bowl of motocross from Atlanta Stadium, Jeff Ward leading the Supercross Series out in front in this first heat.
Jeff Ward gets out to an early lead, and he'll just try to take his time and conserve some energy. He has this race plus a semi to run before the main event.
There you go. Riders 1 through 4 are Ward, Glover, Liles, and Lechien. Now the top 7 will qualify for the semifinals, and riders 8 through 15 in this first heat will go into the quarterfinals. And there's your leader, Jeff Ward from Mission Viejo, California. Pretty close race with Broc Glover, number 3 from El Cajon, California, right behind him, a member of Team Yamaha. There they go over the finish line mountain.
You get a pretty good view of how rutted up the tracks are, how big the berms are starting to develop.
Riders, of course, had some practice times earlier this afternoon, and the track is said to be in relatively fast condition for this 1984 race, Mike.
The track is fast, but these ruts are quickly making this track a one-line course.
There's a good view from our camera high atop the stadium that show you the 9 turns and the 11 obstacles. And there's a battle developing for 3rd and 4th place. Number 12 in 3rd place is Billy Liles. Number 7 is Ron Lechien. And they are almost bike to bike when they get to the turns, Mike.
Yeah, they're really close. Neither rider seems to have an advantage over the other at this point.
Billy Liles is from Team Kawasaki from Fairburn, Georgia. He's a former road racer, and Ron Lechien was the '83 Rookie of the Year. So we have a couple of riders here who are probably going to offer a battle. There's Jeff Ward. He's in first place, number 4. And in second place is number 3, Broc Glover. Ward, who's leading the '84 Supercross Series, is out to a good start in heat number 1. And coming up right behind him, there's that battle for number 3 and 4 again is Liles and Lechien, and what a battle it is.
Yeah, they're really going at it. Liles lost his concentration, got out of rhythm over those jumps, and Ron just about got around him there.
It's pretty rough when they get into the corners. That gets bruising down in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of contact that you really can't see from our view here, but they really are hitting each other pretty hard.
Number 12 is Liles, number 7, Lechien. Lechien takes the high road and Liles the low road as they head into some of the moguls now. And there is Jeff Ward, your leader, already lapping some of the riders back in the back of the 15-rider pack. And there's that battle with Liles and Lechien again. Very close as they go through the rockers.
Lechien seems to have a little bit of an advantage to the rougher parts of the course, and everything he gains, Liles pulls right back out in the straightaways.
Lechien's with Team Honda. It's number 7 on the red bike. And the green one, of course, the familiar green color of Team Kawasaki, Billy Liles. See those ruts that Mike had talked about that have been developing heading into the final lap now, and it could be a close one. There's the leader, Jeff Ward. He has a substantial lead over second place Broc Glover. The Liles and Lechien battle may continue to develop. Jeff Ward from Mission Viejo, California. He's only 5'6", and here comes that battle for third place now, and it could be a close one as we head into the final few hundred yards. Let's watch it.
Oh, Lechien bumps into Liles there, trying to push him out of the way, but it didn't work.
There's Ward. He's the winner. Glover's going to come in second, and let's watch this battle. It's Liles in third place, Lechien in fourth place, heading up to the finish line, and I think it was Liles, but my, it was a close finish.
Yeah, you could see that the flagger had pointed over towards Liles' way. He makes the final decision. On the replay, we can see that Ron Lechien was definitely not giving up. He's getting a good drive off the corner here and pulls up alongside of Liles, but comes just a little bit short at the finish.
So the top 7 riders will now go on to the semifinals. The winner of this race, number 4, Jeff Ward from Mission Viejo, California. In second place was number 3, Broc Glover. And in third place, after that real battle, was number 12, Billy Liles. In fourth place, number 7, Ron Lechien. Let's have a look at the racing format for the 1984 Supercross Series. 60 riders compete in 4 heats to begin the evening's activities. The top 7 riders from each heat will advance to the semifinals. Riders 8 through 15 go into the quarterfinals. The top 4 from the quarterfinals also advance to the semifinals. There are 2 semifinal races, and from those 2 semifinals come the 20 riders who compete in the championship final to determine the winner of the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of motocross. Now let's take a look at the course here at Atlanta Stadium. 9 turns, 11 obstacles. To give you an idea of what it looks like through the eyes of a rider, we've affixed a camera to a local professional rider, Joe Rogers, and now Mike Bell will describe the course.
It's a reasonably short start into a sharp right-hand turn. You go over a jump and head right into the first set of whoop-de-doos. These are pretty tough and they tire your arms out. Then you go into a right-hand turn where there's 2 lines, an inside and outside, and down the longest straight on the track and over the finish line mountain. Come into a small jump that's pretty rutted, and then into another 2-line turn, and then into the Himalayas. There's 5 jumps here, and timing is very critical. You don't want to be in the air too long. You want to get the wheel back on the ground and accelerate. Come off these and turn right. All the corners, there's 2 lines. Come in a short straight into the sand. And this is very fatiguing on the arms too. The sand tries to steer you around. Off a high-speed jump into a right-hand turn to where the good riders will be doubling these jumps right here. And then they'll head right into the washboard whoop-de-doos. And this is definitely the most tiring part of the course. So you can see how long these bumps are, and it's really, really tiring on your arms. Braking and shifting are really the key points to getting around one of these tracks fast. The riders will make approximately 30 to 35 shifts a lap, and the braking is very critical to try to outbrake the other riders and then accelerate as hard as you can out of the corners.
And Mike Bell, thank you for that look at the course here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Heat number 2 has been finished, and Team Honda finished number 1 and 2. David Bailey first and Johnny O'Mara in second place. Ready now for heat number 3. A couple of riders to watch for. Number 17, Ricky Johnson from El Cajon, California, and Team Yamaha. And number 8, Scott Burnworth, who is a neighbor of Ricky Johnson's out in California and who rides for Team Suzuki. The gate is down, and there's the start. Let's see who gets the hole shot. The rider who gets out of there first with the advantage. It looks like it's number 8, Burnworth. And look at Ricky Johnson. He got a late start for some reason or another. Ricky Johnson back in the pack. But it is number 8, Scott Burnworth, out in front on the first lap.
Here's a look at that start, and it looks like Johnson just gets hung up just anticipating that gate dropping just a little bit early and got stuck in there.
And that view coming from a camera mounted on a non-competitive bike. There is Scott Burnworth. He's 19 years old from Jamul, California on Team Suzuki. Finished 8th in the 83 Supercross Series, and he's out to an early lead here in the 1984 Super Bowl of Motocross from Atlanta Stadium. Number 34 in second place there is Rodney Smith. Keith Bowen is 68, and there's Ricky Johnson, who already got back into it. Looks like he's in about 6th place right now. Here's Burnworth, your leader. And Smith coming in 2nd place there, followed by Bowen, Brecker, Keelan, and in 6th place, Ricky Johnson. There's Burnworth.
Johnson moving into 6th very quickly after that bad start. It's very important to catch up to the pack and not let him get too spread out.
See him coming around that corner right there. This is going to be a tightly matched race here. Everybody bunched together. You see Goat Brecker, number 19. Number 34 is Rodney Smith. Smith right now in 3rd place. 2nd place make that. Brecker in 4th place. There's your leader, Scott Burnworth. Rode for Yamaha back in 82. Suzuki in 83. Keith Bowen in 2nd place on bike number 68. He's only 18 years old. And Keelan has some problems there. Now into a little bit of a jam with Andy Stacy, number 38.
Yeah, that berm is getting really soft there, and looked like he had a little bit of trouble. He probably just washed out with the front wheel.
And Ricky Johnson got past him when he had that problem, so Johnson's moved up to 5th place. There's the leader, continued to be Scott Burnworth, number 8. And right behind him, number 68, Keith Bowen from Pontiac, Michigan. 3rd heat in the 1984 Super Bowl of Motocross from Atlanta. There's number 19, Goat Brecker. Coming into your picture now, Ricky Johnson just got past Rodney Smith. So Ricky Johnson riding hard after having problems coming out of the starting gate. Ricky Johnson from El Cajon, California. Injured last year, but coming on strong this year. Problems for number 34, Rodney Smith. Scott Burnworth, number 8, remains in the lead. Starting to lap some riders now, as you can see. Keith Bowen, number 68, right behind him. Number 19 is Brecker, and here comes Ricky Johnson trying to get past Brecker. Johnson and Brecker. Johnson moves past Brecker now and coming strong from behind.
Ricky's looking really strong. He knows that he has to charge very, very hard in these heat races to get to the front.
You can see him popping up behind Scott Burnworth, who continues to be. Now Ricky Johnson has gone past number 68, Bowen. So Johnson has moved into 2nd place and is starting to apply pressure to this man, number 8, the leader, Scott Burnworth, who seems to be, there's Ricky Johnson. Burnworth seems to be riding with a little difficulty, Mike.
You see the style, the comparison there, that Burnworth is really having a lot of trouble. Looks real rigid and stiff through there, and Johnson's very, very fluid and smooth.
Ricky Johnson applying pressure. You see the difference. There's the difference in the distance between them. Scott Burnworth going over the finish line mountain for the last lap now, and Ricky Johnson starting to apply pressure. Johnson just about a couple of bike lengths behind him. It's going to be a close finish. Number 8, Burnworth. Number 17, Johnson. They're starting to lap riders now, and it is wheel-to-wheel racing. Here comes Johnson. Burnworth trying to maintain the lead. Johnson, 17, just on the rear wheel of Burnworth. Now they go into the moguls. It's their bike-to-bike, side-by-side. Ricky Johnson on the gas, takes the lead. Scott Burnworth having just a little trouble there on the turn. And Ricky Johnson taking the lead. This is the last lap. Johnson approaching the finish line. Burnworth in 2nd place. What a race this has been in heat number 3. Here comes Ricky Johnson. He had trouble getting out of the starting gate, and now he wins the race. Ricky Johnson, number 17 from El Cajon, California. Now the order of finish in heat number 3. In first place, Ricky Johnson. In second place, Scott Burnworth. In third place, Keith Bowen. And in fourth place, Goat Brecker. Now let's go trackside to Mike Bell and our winner.
Ricky Johnson, that was a great race. Everybody in the other earlier heats, they said it was hard to pass out there. You made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, Mike, it was the track's turned out really good. There's been like 2 lines in every jump and every turn, so it makes for good passing. I got off to a real bad start. I got stuck in the gate, so evidently there is some good passing lines out there. I passed half the field.
Of course, we hear a lot about the stars of the show, the riders, and we even hear often the name of the factory sponsors like Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, but rarely do we get a chance to meet the men behind the machine. We're going to do that right now as Mike Bell talks with Team Honda mechanic Jim Felt.
We're with Jim Felt, factory Honda mechanic. He's just making a few minor modifications and a few adjustments before the final. Jim, can you give us just a basic outline of your job as a factory mechanic?
Well, I work for Johnny O'Mara, and basically my job is just to work with Johnny and build the bike and set the bike up the way he likes it.
I think Jim is exceptional in all areas. You know, he really gets behind Johnny. He gives him 100% backing when Johnny needs practice. He helps him practice. He works with the engineers in making the bikes better, and he puts 100%. I mean, Jim wants to win as bad as any of the riders want to win. So I think that's what makes him a great mechanic.
Johnny and I work a lot together, and it seems to pay off pretty good. I think that's really important.
The fourth heat has been completed. Here are the results. The winner is number 6, Bob Hanna from Carson Center, Nevada on his Honda. In second place, Mark Barnett, the man who won the '83 Atlanta Super Bowl of motocross from Bridgeview, Illinois, on his Suzuki. There's the starter now giving them time warnings as we're ready to begin semifinal number 1. Mike Bell, who are a couple of riders you're going to look for?
Well, David Bailey, the 1983 national champion, is looking very strong tonight, and Johnny O'Mara is looking very smooth tonight too.
Just moments away from the start, you see the starting gate there to the right of your screen. 9 of these riders will advance to the main event. And a good start. Let's see who jumps in to the hole shot here. It looks like number 3, Glover, and number 4, Ward. And it's David Bailey, number 1, the rider who's down on the left of your screen. David Bailey seemed to be tangled up in traffic and is starting now dead last. The leader, however, is number 3, Broc Glover, and in second place is number 4, Jeff Ward. And some trouble there. That looks like Glover, number 3, who went down. Still struggling a bit, and riders are having to get around him. That's Alan King, number 10, who's tangled up with Glover, and Glover has lost the lead. Broc Glover had jumped out, but now this man, Jeff Ward, on bike number 4, is out to the lead early on. So we've had a lot of entanglements, Mike Bell, here at the start of semifinal number 1.
I think the ruts are giving the riders trouble. It looked like Bailey and Broc both got sideways in the ruts and went down pretty quick.
And number 5 on the red bike there is Johnny O'Mara in second place behind Jeff Ward. Number 12 is Billy Liles. Number 24, Rick Ryan. Number 7 is Ron Lechien, and number 28 is Jim Holly. Early in the race in semifinal number 1. So Jeff Ward, the man who leads in points after 3 events coming into this Supercross here at Atlanta Stadium, is out in first place in this important semifinal race. Here's O'Mara, followed by number 12, Billy Liles. Number 24, Rick Ryan, and Lechien has gotten past Lyon. Lechien now has moved up into 4th place behind Billy Liles. Leader continues to be Jeff Ward. Looks like a pretty exciting race to get started here for semifinal number 1. I'd like to just mention we'd like to thank the promoters, Stadium Motorsports Corporation, and their president, Jeannie Sleeper. As you look there at Liles and Lechien, they're having another battle again. Once again, they had one earlier.
Yeah, it looks just like their heat race, like a repeat here. They're getting really close. Lechien's going to try and get some revenge on Liles, I think.
That's Liles number 12 on the Kawasaki and Lechien number 7 for Team Honda. They had a battle earlier, as we said, and it looks like it's going to be a close one again. Seems like they usually have the action happen in these corners, Mike Bell.
Yeah, that's where you can make up all the time. The guy behind can see where the rider in front is slowing down, and he just pushes it just a little bit further, so it always seems like the guy behind is going faster.
Back to our first and second place riders now. Number 4 is Jeff Ward, and right on his wheel is number 5, the Johnny O Show, they call him, Johnny O'Mara. But Jeff Ward continues in the lead, and he's been riding very, very strong and continues so here. I have a feeling he's going to be pressured, however, all night long by Johnny O'Mara. Again, O'Mara getting out in the same line as Jeff Ward is on these turns. Heard us talk earlier about how the lines are when they have to get on a passing situation on these corners. It's very important. We see now that Lechien has gotten past Liles. Number 7 is Lechien ahead of Liles. So it's Ward, O'Mara, Lechien, and Liles. 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the semifinal as they go over finish line mountain. Well, Lechien did get that revenge, Mike.
He must have learned something from the heat. He did find a way around him this time.
There's Jeff Ward from Mission Viejo, California, only 5'6", a member of Team Kawasaki. Born in Scotland, by the way, raised in the United States. In second place, Johnny O'Mara. Good view of our TBS cameras here of the Rockers down in front of the more than 40,000 people at Atlanta Stadium for the semifinal semifinal number one in the 1984 Super Bowl of motocross. Jeff Ward continues in the lead. While we watch Jeff Ward, I wanted to thank InSport, the body that has assumed the sanctioning responsibility for Supercross. They're running a fine event here at Atlanta Stadium tonight. Jeff Ward continues in the lead. Number 2 is Johnny O'Mara. Third place, is Ron Lechien, and in third place is Billy Liles. By the way, back in the pack, David Bailey is starting a move. You may recall that Bailey had gone down. He was tangled up after the first turn, but Mike, he's starting to make a move back in the pack.
Yeah, he really is. He's riding real aggressively. He looked very strong in his heat race, and I'm sure he was really discouraged when he crashed, so he's trying extra hard.
Broc Glover on bike number 3 got the whole shot, but went down early also. We have not heard from him since. Broc Glover was in first place, but Jeff Ward shot past him when Glover had the trouble, and Ward now continues in the lead. Johnny O'Mara is in second place, followed by Lechien and Liles. And here comes Bailey, the man we were talking about. He's going around bike number 28, Jim Holly now. There goes David Bailey. Making a charge from the back of the pack, David Bailey. He's in 5th place right now. So Bailey had started dead last when he went down on that first turn up to 5th place and making move toward 4th. In 4th place right now is number 12, Billy Liles.
The important thing in the semi is, even though you get a bad start and you only have to finish 9th to qualify, the better you do, the better of a position you get on the starting line for the main event. So it's critical to finish up in the top in this race.
And there's our leader, Jeff Ward, on bike number 4. It is Ward, O'Mara, Lechien, Liles, and David Bailey in semi-final number 1. And there's Bailey. Look at that gold number 1. Now he's getting past Rick Ryan on the turn. Why the gold number 1 on the bike?
Well, that indicates that he was the overall national champion last year in the Wrangler Series. He won the outdoor and the indoor, the combined points. He was the champion for last year.
There's Jeff Ward, number 4, lapping riders now with Johnny O'Mara right on his tail in semifinal number 1. Super Bowl of Motocross 1984 from Atlanta Stadium, and Ward seems to be riding strong, but not much stronger than the man who just went out of your picture there, number 5, Johnny O'Mara. Again, lapping riders, Jeff Ward the leader. O'Mara right behind him. Looks like, oh my, O'Mara had some problems there.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little out of shape in the rockers there, and it was actually standing next to his bike.
He was making a real push here to catch Jeff Ward. I think O'Mara, who got his bike going again, may be able to maintain his position. However, he remained in second place there. And there comes Jeff Ward, the winner, and O'Mara did get his bike started. He's going to get around. Here comes David Bailey. Bailey pressuring Billy Liles now. Bailey's in 5th place. Liles in 4th place, heading into the last lap, heading to finish line mountain. Can Bailey catch Liles for 4th place? Almost, but not quite for Bailey. But what a charge from dead last to 5th. However, the real excitement right before the end of the race happened in 2nd place when Johnny O'Mara lost it at the left side of your screen here. O'Mara came in a little too hard trying to pass leader Jeff Ward there and got out of shape, just about lost it, but maintained his balance and the balance of the bike and went on to finish 2nd. Here are the results of semi number 1 now. Ward, O'Mara, Lechien, Liles, and Bailey. Let's go to Mike Bell and our winner.
Jeff Ward, winner of semi number 1. Looked like Broc Glover went down right on the first lap. He got the whole shot and you're right behind him. Could you tell what happened?
Yeah, Mike, I was coming in the corner I kind of went sideways and I was looking ahead, and it looked like he got sideways at both ruts. And I saw him, fortunately, I saw him going down, so I knew to jump to the side. You know, otherwise he thought we were going to land on him, so it turned out really well.
How's the track holding up?
The ruts are getting deeper. It's getting harder to go through a lot of sections, but that's the type of track I like. I'm a technical rider, so it helps me out quite a bit.
Going to be hard to pass if you get a bad start?
Yeah, but so far I've got 2 good starts, so I'm planning on not having to pass anybody.
All right, so how do you feel for the main? Pretty confident, huh?
Yeah, really good. Year's been going good so far, and I feel strong, so I'm hoping to win another one.
Racing fans are familiar with the factory teams like Jeff Ward's Team Kawasaki and others like Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda, but not so with Team Tam, the only non-factory team owned and operated by Bob and Julie Tam. We talked to them earlier.
Bob, how did you come up with, and when did you come up with the concept of Team Tam?
Actually, the concept came up in early 1982 when my wife and I traveled around to a lot of the supercrosses in the United States and found that there was a void between the amateur program and the high-level A team of the factories. And we decided that there needed to be somebody to fill that void, and this is what we decided to do.
But I think the most fun, really, and the most rewarding is all the people, and that's the truth. The people around are really rewarding. All the people around here are all one big family, not a clique, a close-knit clique, but they're all a family, and it's really neat traveling for 8 months out of the year with them. I missed them when we were in the off-season, and I'm glad to be back with them all.
You know, young, attractive lady like yourself, on first impression, if someone asked me what you did, it wouldn't be that you were involved with Team Tam and motocross racing. How do you feel about it from a woman's point of view?
Well, I'm not a pit tootsie, if that's what you mean.
As the top rider for Team Tam, do you feel that you have a realistic chance of winning the events compared to the factory riders again?
I have a chance. You know, I don't think I'd be here if I didn't think I'd have a chance to win. You know, my main objective is to finish top 10 all the time and hopefully run top 10 in all the series. In the stadium series, it's really good because you have a lot of competition. But I feel that I can win if the brakes go right. You know, I feel I have just as good of a chance to win with Team Tam as I did with Team Suzuki. So I'm always out there to win.
And Alan does have an opportunity to win. This is called the Last Chance Race. It's the last event before the championship event. And this will select 2 riders to advance to the main event. And leading in this Last Chance Race are 2 Team Tam riders. Number 25 is A.J. Whiting, and number 10 is Alan King. A good example of Team Tam competing with the factory-sponsored teams.
Team Tam has done a really good job getting these riders to the races, and you have to really, I admired Bob and Julie for what they've done to the sport, because there really are too few opportunities for riders to be able to ride at this level.
I'm sure most fans don't realize that there aren't many factory-backed riders in all of motocross racing.
That's right, Bob. There are only 14 factory-backed riders on the circuit this year, and it's really good that Team Tam is giving riders like these guys a chance to go out and prove themselves, because there are so few spots on the factory teams.
And just 4 teams, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki, and of course the privately owned and financed Team Tam. And finishing first and second here in this final qualifier to move on to the championship event are A.J. Whiting and Alan King of Team Tam. Jeff Ward, the 1984 Supercross points leader, and the other finalists discussing strategy and preparing psychologically for the main event, which will be coming up next in the 1984 Super Bowl of Motocross from Atlanta Stadium. Just moments away from the start of the championship main event in the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of Motocross. The top 20 riders on the night. They will race for 20 laps. These are the riders who started with the heat races, the semis, the quarterfinals, and a couple in the last chance race. And Mike Bell, who are a couple of these riders to look for?
Well, Jeff Ward looks very good coming into the final after winning his heat in the semi. Ricky Johnson also looking very strong, one of the only riders we've seen to be able to come through the pack.
Not to mention Johnny O'Mara, Billy Liles, David Bailey. There's just a bunch of good ones. As a matter of fact, the top 20 riders on the night now just moments away from the starting gate dropping for the championship main event, and they're off. It's a good, clean start. Let's see who gets the hole shot. The man who takes the lead, a key move here in this race. Broc Glover, number 3, having some trouble. Number 4, getting out to the lead, is Jeff Ward, and it is number 19, Goat Brecker, in second place. There's a view from our camera, mounted on the landing side of Finish Line Mountain. to give you a unique view of this course here at Atlanta Stadium, and a good view here from our camera to show you the course for the championship main event. So the first place rider is number 4, Jeff Ward.
The start is really important for these finals too, Bob, to get out there and try to set the pace and let everybody try to catch up to you. What Jeff's going to try to do is pull away and hopefully make enough distance that some of the other riders are back in the pack, and hopefully he can get away from them.
Number 5 is Johnny O'Mara. Number 2, Mark Barnett. They're right behind Goat Brecker as we're in the first couple of laps here. There's your leader, Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward from Mission Viejo, California, only 5'6". He leads in the point standings after 3 events coming into this one, and is now out to a lead in the championship main event. And there's that terrific camera view. There's your leader, Jeff Ward. Second place is Brecker. In third place, O'Mara. Fourth place, Mark Barnett. In fifth place is David Bailey. And what a view from Finish Line Mountain as the 20 riders come across the top. Over 40,000 at Atlanta Stadium. There's the leader, Jeff Ward. From Mission Viejo, California, Team Kawasaki. He leads in the point standings. Number 19 is Brecker in second place. Here comes Bob Hanna. Hanna now back down around 7th or 8th place at the moment. Number 17, Ricky Johnson, coming up right behind Bob Hanna. Johnson gets past him there to move into 7th place. And Bob Hanna, Hurricane Bob Hanna, a former winner here at Atlanta, now in 8th place early on here in the championship event at Atlanta Stadium.
Johnson really seems to be one of the only riders that's able to pass. Most of the riders just seem to be sitting in the groove and circulating, and Johnson's going out there and passing.
Ricky Johnson's been successful that all night.
Yeah, he has. He looked real good in his heat race.
So Johnson riding strong, coming from behind, now in 7th place. Your leader continues to be Jeff Ward. Goat Brecker is in 2nd place. And there's Jeff Ward. A good view of the rest of the pack now. 19 is Brecker, 5 O'Mara, 2 Mark Barnett, and there is number 1 David Bailey. Back to our leader, Jeff Ward, number 4.
Jeff really looks like he's in control. Oh, he's having a little trouble there in the berm, and the berms are really soft, and I think that some of the other riders are probably going to have a little trouble with him tonight too.
And you just saw number 17 Johnson trying to get past Liles there. Johnson is in 6th place now, coming up from way back in the pack. The leader continues to be Jeff Ward, number 4. Jeff Ward was 4th in the '83 Supercross and leads this series, as we told you. Born in Scotland, but raised here in the United States. Only 5'6".
Yeah, he's probably the smallest rider on the circuit. Get a good view of him going over these jumps, though. They try to, the same theory as in skiing, they really don't want to get in the air too much. They want to stay low and get that wheel on the ground so they get that traction and keep that forward momentum.
Jeff Ward right now riding in control and smoothly and has a substantial lead, although Johnny O'Mara is now closed in just behind his rear wheel, and O'Mara is coming on strong.
Yeah, Johnny's gonna...
Oh my, that's Goat Brecker who went down, number 19. Goat Brecker lost control and hit the hay bale.
Gosh, it looked like he came in here good, and he hits this one bump, and it just throws his weight forward. There you can see his weight going over the handlebars, and the seat hits him in the rear and just throws him up over the bars, and he loses control and throws him right down. It's like he went down pretty hard too.
Goat Brecker seems to be at least slightly injured. You see his hands there on the right side of his ribs. May have his ribs hard on the ground. Goat Brecker is out. I doubt we'll see him return. Here's our leader, number 4, Jeff Ward. In the first half of the championship main event, 20 laps. Jeff Ward continues to be in the lead.
We'll see if Goat Brecker going out is going to have any effect of Johnny O'Mara being able to close the gap on Ward now. There's nobody in his way.
Johnny O'Mara was applying a lot of pressure to Brecker when Brecker went down back on the moguls. Number 5 O'Mara, you see, is relatively close to our leader, Jeff Ward. There's Ricky Johnson coming behind David Bailey. 17 here is Ricky Johnson, who had a come-from-behind race earlier tonight.
He's got a lot farther to go this time. Ward's already stretching out a pretty good lead.
Number 12, there's Billy Liles, who is now in 6th place. Jeff Ward riding strong consistently and seems to be maintaining his line around this course with relative ease. Once again, having some trouble with that soft berm.
Yeah, those berms are really soft, and it tends to take the wheel right out of your hand. It grabs the front tire and almost steers it away from you.
Good view of the distance there between 1st and 2nd place. In 2nd place right now is Johnny O'Mara. Johnny O'Mara is 22 from Simi Valley, California, member of Team Honda. They call him the Johnny O Show, and he's always a tough competitor, particularly if he gets up in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, all these riders in the top 5 right now are all very evenly matched.
Here comes that charge by Ricky Johnson. Johnson right now trying to trace down David Bailey. Our leader, Jeff Ward, number 4. And remaining in second place is Johnny O'Mara. There's our third place rider, Mark Barnett. It is Ward, O'Mara, Barnett, Bailey, and Johnson at this point.
It looks like Johnny's closed a little bit more ground on him this lap, too. He's really putting on a good charge.
Johnny O'Mara, the 1983 125cc outdoor champion, says he's mentally prepared to win a national championship this year. Look how close it's getting. Ward and O'Mara in first and second place. Championship event action from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in the 1984 Super Bowl of motocross.
He's definitely closing on him a lot. He's putting himself in a position to make a pass.
And here comes Bailey putting some pressure on Mark Barnett. That's David Bailey and Mark Barnett in battle back there for third place. You're looking at first and second, which has a battle of its own going on now. And there's Barnett and Bailey, and now it's O'Mara who's taken the lead in this race. Johnny O'Mara just passed Jeff Ward and has the lead. He's in first place.
It looked like Ward had a little bit of trouble with that berm and wasn't able to make the double jumps, and O'Mara just slipped right by him.
And another battle happening for third place right behind these two fellas. There's the battle for third place. David Bailey's number 1. Number 2 is Mark Barnett. And that one seems to be closing.
Yeah, Bailey's been riding really smooth and very strong tonight.
Cross finish line mountain. Bailey seems to be gaining just a little bit on Mark Barnett. David Bailey, 23, 6'2", from Axton, Virginia. Call him the little professor. He's a member of Team Honda. Now he's closing a little more on Mark Barnett.
Dave also closed a lot of ground on Ward. They're just right up behind him now.
So it's O'Mara and Ward, Barnett and Bailey. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ricky Johnson trying to pursue those 4. Getting closer with Barnett and Bailey. The battle for third place.
Bailey's trying him on the outside. Just slips around him. That was a great move.
So Bailey's moved into third place, and he's applying pressure now to Jeff Ward in second place. We've got ourselves a terrific and exciting close race here in the championship main event from Atlanta Stadium. Right now, O'Mara continues to lead. Number 5, the Johnny O Show. But O'Mara better not be comfortable with that lead. He's going to continue to contend with Ward and Bailey and Barnett, not to mention the charge that's happening right now from number 17, Ricky Johnson, who is in 5th place. I have a feeling we're going to have an exciting finish in the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of motocross. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Very different body styles of these two riders. Mark Barnett's just a little fellow at 5'7". On the other hand, Ricky Johnson is kind of like my partner Mike Bell here. He's a tall one at 6'1". Does that make any difference in the way they ride those bikes, Mike?
Well, yeah, it gives Ricky a little bit of an advantage through the bumps because it actually, having the longer legs, gives him a little bit more suspension.
So there's your battle between third and fourth place, Barnett and Johnson. I noticed that Barnett is maintaining a true line. Johnson zigzagging just a bit. Here comes your leader, number 5, Johnny O'Mara, maintaining the pace and his distance. But back to that battle between third and fourth place, that line being maintained by Barnett, Johnson zigging around a bit.
Johnson's trying everything he can think of to get around Mark. He's really trying to push him to make a mistake or just try to get around him any way he can.
And I think if you'll check into your picture, just going right to the left side there, you see that Barnett and Johnson are also closing in on the second place rider, Jeff Ward, as they head into this mogul area here. And a little bit of trouble of Ricky Johnson, who's trying to let it all hang out. There is your leader, number 5, Johnny O'Mara, Team Honda. More than 40,000 here. Oh my, that's John Welchel, who has crashed into the hay bales, number 64. He seems to be okay, and I think is even going to try to get back in the race, but in terms of finishing high enough to be satisfied, we'll have to consider himself just about out of it. Right now, Johnson, Barnett, Jeff Ward, those are the racers in second, third, and fourth place. Heading into those moguls there is Ricky Johnson pushing it pretty hard.
The pace has really picked up quite a bit with Johnson and Barnett going. They've really closed up on Ward.
Seems as if every time Ricky Johnson, just about, as in right there, catches Mark Barnett, Barnett gets on the gas a little bit. So that's quite a battle we have. O'Mara maintains his lead, and Ward stays in second place. Barnett and Johnson now battling. Bailey is still in fifth place despite the fact that he went down. There goes number 17, Ricky Johnson, heading into those moguls. And having a little bit of a problem with, oh my, almost lost it. Nice save by Ricky Johnson, and seems to be back in control now, but that's going to throw him off a bit in his effort to catch Mark Barnett.
It looks like he comes into him pretty good, and he just starts to lose his rhythm, and the bike starts kicking him around, and he does a nice job of saving it here. You can tell it throws off his rhythm a little bit, and he just about comes to a stop right here. You can see the spokes just about come to a stop, and he does a really nice job of keeping going here.
Mike Bell, that really impresses me about the athletic ability to be able to maintain control of that bike. I know you've been in similar situations. And speaking of control, here's the man who's in control of the race right now going into the final lap. That is Johnny O'Mara. He has one more lap to go, and unless something very unusual happens, I think that's the man we're going to see in victory lane.
Yeah, I think so. He's looking really strong and real consistent. Like you said, something really strange is going to happen for Johnny not to win.
Team Honda is going to be very pleased with the performance of this young man. He did not win either his heat or his semi. He finished second in both, but has maintained the lead here since passing Jeff Ward a little bit earlier. Now approaching the final lap and the finish line. Probably be seeing that checkered flag for number 5, Johnny O'Mara, any moment now. So let's enjoy the final few hundred yards with Johnny O'Mara here as he heads for victory lane. As something very unusual happens, the crowd really getting behind him. The Johnny O Show heading toward that checkered flag. And there's your winner of the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of Motocross. And just as that happened, Mark Barnett moved into second place ahead of Jeff Ward. Johnny O'Mara with the win is second on the young season. There's his mechanic, Jim Felt, offering the congratulations. Johnny O'Mara, our winner. In second place, Mark Barnett. Third place, Jeff Ward, followed by Ricky Johnson and David Bailey. Now let's go trackside to Mike Bell with our winner, Johnny O'Mara.
Well, Johnny, how did it feel?
Tell you, I feel so good inside right now. It's, you know, it's just about like how I felt at Anaheim when I won earlier this year. I can't believe I won another one.
You took advantage of a little mistake that Ward made, and he couldn't do the double jumps, and you were right there.
Yeah, I seen that he kind of was bobbling a little bit, and he went wide, and I figured he wasn't going to do it, so I cut to the inside, so I made sure I cleared him, so I didn't, you know, clip his bars or something like that.
So this ought to put you in pretty good shape, bringing pretty close back to Wardy for the points, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm right in there. You know, winning the main gains 5 points over the other guys, and I guess Barnett passed Ward, so that helped me out a little bit. So we're real close.
All right, well, great job, John. You did a really, really nice ride.
Thanks, Mike.
So the more than 40,000 fans have headed for the exits here at Atlanta Stadium after seeing an exciting night of racing in the 1984 Atlanta Super Bowl of Motocross.